I first and foremost want to be very clear and open about the two people that influenced me to sort of make this video, and two people that I'm absolutely going to bat for. I don't want it to be any confusion or anything like that. Predominantly, they are Ryan of RK Outpost, as well as Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. Those two are my bros. And I'm going to go to bat for them for sure, because it seems that they kind of both were, I don't want to say, they obviously weren't the only ones to cover this, but they were certainly one of the first ones that just be targeted, let's say, by Naughty Dog, Sony, what have you, regarding this, The Last of Us 2 leaks and so forth. So I just want to put that out there first and foremost. I'm going to bat for those two in this video, but I am going to be all over the place. I actually didn't even know what to title this, and I guess we'll figure it out after I shoot it and upload it. But for those that don't know, Naughty Dog, Sony have been copyright striking and seemingly abusing the copyright system of different websites, mainly in YouTube. Ryan, as of last time I checked, excuse me if he's given an update on this, but he had, from RK Outpost, big shout out to him, but he had 2 copyright strikes talking about these leaks. And, Jeremy from, I think the Geeks and Gamers channel got their first copyright strike, if I'm not mistaken, talking about this. Let me say this before I get going. And I know I'm taking my time because, I get to do this, my channel. But first and foremost, the leaks themselves, which we're not going to go into too much detail, holy crap. Those being true, and if those are true and they change absolutely nothing to it, holy crap, how the mighty have fallen. Some of you guys have seen me talk about Last of Us before all of this. It was a game that I played a lot of, mainly the online. I know a lot of people were so attracted to the campaign. Me personally and my bros, 4v4 was very competitive, man, very competitive for Last of Us, and I was kind of a sleeper of the entire game. And obviously it extends the life of it. But once I heard that they wasn't rolling it out with the online, I was already out on it, to be completely honest. I was already out of it. I love the story of it, but what really got me in on it, and I'd already knew kind of what direction they were going with it. I didn't know it was this bad, but I knew kind of the direction they were going in it. And this upcoming game, but I was already out on the online stuff. But now we have people that are talking about, obviously the leaks came out and talking about the direction that they're going. It's a slap in the face, seemingly, of the people that seem to have ran and raved about this game, loved the game, talked about the game, discussed the games, were fans of the game, and just some of the material or the direction that they're going is just disrespectful. But we have to discuss how they're now going after people. If you wanted to make the argument that, they were sharing leaked information, fine, whatever. If we assume that was a valid reason for things to be taken down from YouTube's website, okay, we'll concede that. But that's not what's just taking place. What's taking place here is that people are being copyright struck just talking about it, and even vaguely, not even going into the specifics, that just talking about them, memes. But particularly, you're seeing these videos, like the follow-up videos that like Ryan does, and they're copyright striking them, even not actually going into detail. College Geeks and Gamers as well, not even going into detail specifically. They were like streaming. You had streams being taken completely down, not even going into detail on what happened what the links sort of entail. So basically, at this point, it's bad press for the game, bad coverage of the game, copyright strike. Now, there's a couple of different ways to go about this. Yes, predominantly, who's going to be held liable, needs to be held liable for even going this route. It has to be, Naughty Dog. It has to be whoever's facilitating that, going around targeting creators in that regards, sort of incentivizing YouTube to do these shutdowns and so forth. That is the fact that that's even, I don't know who it is facilitating. I know everybody's talking about Neil Druckmann. I'm not sure who it is. I'm not going to pretend like I know exactly who is doing this, but whoever it is that is facilitating this, they are suckers. Like, let's be 100% clear. They are suckers for doing that. I don't want to hold back on any of that. They are suckers for doing that. And if they do it to me, we'll see what happens with this video, but I gotta go to bat for my pros. Nonetheless, that in itself is something that I would say that they get what they deserved and go in the direction that they got. But I will concede that you don't like for your material to be leaked. I say this as a creator. You don't like that. And as unfortunate as it may be, to then target, though, the creators who are even vaguely discussing this nonsense, in discussing the fact that you're targeting them and abusing some of these copyright measures, that's a completely different ball game. Obviously, in some of these cases, you're messing with people's livelihoods. Even if you feel that they're messing with your livelihood by leaking some of this information, you're certainly messing with their livelihoods. And like I said, I will concede that if you wanted to strike somebody for discussing the leaks, because that was supposedly private information, I can understand why websites would have measures in place to prevent that sort of spread. However, again, we have people that are being struck, and that's a complete abuse of the system. And this is where YouTube comes into play. We have people that are being struck for not even going into detail with what's happening in the leaks. That is the problem that I have with it. Now, y'all know where I'm at with IP law. If you don't, go look at some of my videos on that and how that's I'm a libertarian, right? And I'm not going to go into too much detail. That's not the point of this video. But you can listen to, Stephen Kinsella. He's done some great work over at Mises.org talking about IP law and sort of that position on that, and how it's just sort of the monopolization of an effectively now, right? It doesn't mean that I don't want creators to be compensated or getting credited for their work. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying as it exists right now, but it's just basically these monopolization of ideas, not things that aren't even freaking scarce resources, in the sense that you're not deprived of it in the event that someone else, let's say, also has that idea. But that's something that I've already gone into detail. I've done entire streams on it and discussed it. So you can go and watch those. It's not the point of the video. The point of the video is talking about the abuse of the system that YouTube seems to be lacking. This is where I've had an issue with YouTube on this, is that this is something that could easily be remedied by them. It doesn't matter. They could, yes, again, the people that initiated the conflict in this regards, in terms of targeting some of these creators, those guys are suckers, absolutely. But when it comes to to what YouTube is doing, we cannot, like, they're having their system abused by the Sonys of the world and the Naughty Dogs of the world. That's where YouTube's feet have to be held to the fire, in that they do that. And then they're so slow and they're lagging, right, in terms of trying to correct the issue. They're quick to pull the trigger when it comes to removing content. This is what I've always had a problem with YouTube on this. They're quick to pull the trigger on removing content, but when it comes to trying to actually correct a mistake, because even by their own standards, by their own rules, in a lot of cases, you haven't violated anything, and they're so slow. It's like move like molasses, right? When it comes to actually reinstating that material, correcting the problem, they're not as quick on the pulling the trigger there as certainly they are when it comes to taking people's stuff down, right? So you get these people that have worked hard, probably made money themselves, made YouTube a lot of money in terms of the ad revenue, and they're having their their channels flagged. And I believe if you get 3 copyright strikes, you're done. And they're having their channels flagged because these losers at Sony are targeting them in a sense. But YouTube has a system that is easily abused. And that is a problem that they have to address, man. They have to address that, and they are so slow to respond, so slow. I mean, I just recently had a video removed that wasn't a copyright or anything, but they removed my video. They didn't even give me a strike, which unless you know that I didn't violate any damn rules, but they removed my video, and I still haven't had it reinstated. I haven't got any response on that or anything like that. It's so frustrating when things like that happen. But your system is flawed. It's heavily flawed. It's been flawed when it allows people to, on their own channels, discuss even the abusive part of your copyright system, or the fact that they're being abused by these suckers over that, or your system is being abused by these suckers over at Naughty Dog. So not even going into detail, about what's going on in the leaks. Not even doing that, and you're still targeting, which means you just don't like the bad press. The fact that there is an avenue that allows companies to do that is a problem, YouTube. That's a problem, bro. Y'all gotta fix that. Y'all have to address that because not only it's a terrible look on you, but you have to understand, even if you wanted to make the argument that Sony's or Naughty Dog's and their livelihoods are impacted, the creators' livelihoods are impacted in this regards as well. And because yes, at the end of the day, it is a revenue stream. I've encouraged you guys not to put all your stake into YouTube, but this is a revenue stream at the end of the day. And this is what I would encourage anybody that's being impacted by this. I need to be going through the terms of service, and the agreements that you have as partners and as creators on YouTube with a fine-tooth comb. I think that is where you get them. It's not about, yes, they have their community standards and all of that, but at the end of the day, the terms of service goes both ways. It is basically a contractual agreement. So if they're not holding up their end of the bargain, they have to be held liable for that. That was a contractual agreement. But either way, there's no abuse. There's no abuse in terms of a violation by way of these creators talking about some of this material, or talking about more so what's happening. There's no violation there. What's happening is that they don't like the bad press. Naughty Dog, Sony, whoever, they don't like the bad press that they're getting. Yes, the leaks themselves were that's a different story, but they don't like the bad press that they're getting. So they've sort of created this issue, and they have to commit to it. So one copyright strike turns into 100. So they've committed to it, unfortunately. But there's an issue there. They're abusing the system. YouTube has to step in, do something about it, and they're being so slow. Look, I talk about why I, dare I say, partnered with the Blaze. The reason why I did that, a lot of reason why I did that, is because stuff like this and what I see with YouTube is getting silly, but it's unfair, and it puts a lot of stuff into question. So I think that creators need, and this is where YouTube is incentivizing the altar. They're pulling a Blockbuster. We talked about this on stream, where you instead of becoming innovative in a sense to where you correct these problems, it's like you get so cocky that you are at the top, you remain that you always have to be there. And what you do is you incentivize alternatives to be created. But that's a big time reason why I considered partnering. So at least at minimum, I have a platform there that has their own subscription service, has their own video platform that I can still get my word out. And this is what I would encourage. And I mean, you see Gangsta Gamers are doing their thing, and they're building out this website and stuff like that. That's a direction I think a lot of people are being more incentivized to go, because you have silly stuff like this. God forbid they were actually as fast on the trigger as they were with these clowns, or as they are when it comes to the abuse of the copyright system. Bad press, bad press. I don't like the fact that you talking about this garbage that we put out. But not even that. I don't like you talking about it. So we strike you. It's an abuse of a system. It is so heavily flawed. It's been flawed. This isn't anything that started today. That system has been flawed. And if we want to get to the nitty gritty, Sony has actually had a history of copyright abuses. But certainly in this regard, YouTube, your system has been flawed. You got to fix it. And again, you just incentivize people to seek alternatives to your system because you don't want to get it together. And you're catering over to these losers. And those losers over at Naughty Dog, let me say this on my way out of here. You were sitting on a gold mine. And I'm not sure whose bright idea it was to go the direction that you're going. I know everybody has the speculations. I don't really know. But it was a mistake. The consumers have spoken. And I know that your game comes out, what does it come out like next month? I don't know how much you can salvage in that short period of time. But you probably can't. There's probably nothing you can do at this point. You've already committed. But if everything is true and it seems like this is what it's going to be, holy cow. How the mighty have fallen. But you need to understand that the reaction that you're getting is your own doing. You can sit here, and I know there's going to be folks who definitely stand Twitter. Stand Twitter is really, really loud. It seems like they stand for games that they don't even play. But nonetheless, you appealing to these weirdos and completely spitting in the face of your consumers seems to be something that is happening among so many different subcultures. But if that's the direction that you want to go, whatever, your property. But the reaction that you're getting is not because there's some sort of outlier, angry man baby or man babies. They're simply just that are outliers, right? That just don't like never liked your material. No. This is your own doing. This is on you. You made a mistake. Unfortunately, it leaked. So yes, it's gonna hurt your bottom line because a lot of people there's no way I'm buying this game at this point, and I understand that. But you gotta understand that at the end of the day, if the leaks, and this is what I want you guys to take into consideration. I know you probably won't, but if even the leaks consisted of material that people liked and looked forward to that seemed innovating, they still would have bought despite whatever the leaks were, they still would have bought no matter how spoiled it was, they still would have bought your material. They still would have bought it. They still would have bought it. We've seen this before. They still would buy it. Even knowing what's going to happen. If it was good, they still would have bought it. But the reaction that you're getting, and this is what cannot be lost as you sit up here and abuse YouTube's and even other websites and their copyright system. This is your own doing, and it's because the material was bad. So at the end of the day, what has people going in the direction that they're going, and basically, jumping off whatever, if they were committed to this game, they were like, nah, no more. That is your own doing because whatever guys over at your company thought that it was a bright idea to take the game in the direction that you're taking it. That is on you. That is a content problem. This issue is null and void as far as you losing money. No, doesn't even matter if the story was that good. They still would have wanted to experience it. They still would have wanted to play it. They still would have wanted to do that, regardless. I know it sucks to have things that are spoiled. I understand that. Again, I speak on that as a creator. However, the reaction that you're getting is because the content itself was absolutely terrible, and you are not helping yourself by abusing other websites and their copyright system. YouTube needs to be held liable for this garbage that they're doing, that they're allowing this to happen. But make no mistake, Naughty Dog, the reaction that you're getting is because the content itself that you guys, the direction that you're going in with this game was trash. And I don't want that to be lost, despite no matter, it's out there, information's out there, no matter how much you try to suppress it by copyright striking people talking about it. Doesn't matter. I want to be very clear and concise with that. And this is what a lot of people don't seem to understand, definitely in this day and age, where people think they're just entitled to other people's money, let's say that, and they just can't fathom the idea that there's just a big part of even the folks that had already committed. We've seen this in comic books. Talk about this comic book, like core comic book fans. They're like, how dare you, in the event that they do something, the content creator, that is. So in this case, Naughty Dog does something that spits in the face that didn't make your game great, right? It didn't make your franchise great. And they do something antithetical to that, and then they clutch their pearls like, how could they possibly not like this? You have a content issue. Now, again, I don't know whose bright idea or who wanted to take this in the direction that y'all took it. I don't know. Yeah, hopefully you fire them. But make no mistake, that's why you're getting the reaction that you're getting. Stop copyright striking my bros, man. That ain't gonna save you from this. You gotta hold it. The L has to be hold, even if you get them off the site, off of YouTube. The L has to still be held by you. But y'all gotta stop that. And YouTube, y'all some suckers along with them. Man, y'all need to be just as fast. This is all I ask to YouTube. Just as fast as you copyright strike, just as fast as you remove content, you should be just as fast to manually review it and fix the issue in the event that you are in error, and you're not.